Hey guys, enough said. Meet Simmons back with another video. Today we have a video discussing something that we all can understand, and that is arguing with others. So here we go. We're gonna jump right into it.
Give up arguing with people. I don't argue with people no more. An argument is supposed to have a level of criticism that a person can receive and make a solution that both parties can benefit from. Arguing with a person without a solution is a pointless conversation. What are we arguing for if we're not going to resolve the issue at the end of the day? And if there's one thing that I learned about people is that when you get into an argument with a person and they know they're wrong, they're dead wrong, irrefutably wrong. They will bring up something you did and flip the whole entire conversation to make you feel like the bad guy, to make you feel like it's all your fault. I don't have to argue with people. I don't want to argue with people. I don't need to argue with people. If we can't sit down and have a conversation about what happened, why it happened, and then create a solution so it doesn't happen again, we're not talking. I'm not talking about it. I don't want to have a conversation because I'm at a point in my life, I don't have the energy, bro, to keep going in circles and talking about something that we're not going to resolve.
Perfect.
He ain't lying.
He's not. He's not. No.
He ain't lying.
So let's break this down. Let's talk about it from a few different standpoints. Let's start with relationship.
Sure.
Because then we'll talk about friendships and we'll work our way down, family and all that stuff like that. So I've learned, and after being married for a very long time and coaching couples for a very long time, there's this thing that people talk about, deflection. They really don't know what deflection is. They use it because they probably heard somebody say it. They really don't know what deflection is.
Yeah. Break it down.
So when you're in, and I'm gonna come from a male standpoint, from a female.
Sure.
So if I'm in an argument with my lady, and I bring up the fact that we're not having sex enough, right? And then she turns around and says, "Well, it's because you're not romantic enough, and you know this and that, and I'm tired, and you make me feel bad, and I don't feel good about myself, and all these things." So typically, what will happen in a marriage is that we end up going down that rabbit hole. We end up going,
oh, that's the plan, baby.
Yeah, why don't you feel, I tried, and this and that, and then all of a sudden we have talked about for 3 hours about how she feels and how what I brought up made her feel. Yeah. But we never talk about why I felt the way I felt. Yeah. And so what you end up having is a bunch of men who are shut down emotionally because every time I bring up an issue that I have, we end up talking about how what I said made you feel. And we talk about what happened after I said what I said, and then the guy's left with it. He's left with the decision to make. There's this thing I want to bring up, but I don't want to deal with the backlash. I don't want to deal with the fallout from it. Because if I bring it up, we're going to be down the rabbit hole, and she's going to end up crying, and I'm going to feel bad because my lady crying, and I don't like seeing my baby cry. And then it's going to be then I might as well just do it. I'm just going to swallow it. Yeah. And hold it in.
So then you're shut down.
And then you shut down.
And then I'm going, well, why won't you just open up to me?
Yeah. Tell me the truth. Well, if I tell you the truth, then you really gonna, like Jack Nicholson said, you can't handle the truth. Yep. And so that's where a lot of couples find themselves at. So, go ahead.
Oh, honey, deflection. Deflection is a distraction strategy. You better understand that. It is a fallacy of logic. It is called a red herring. Look it up. It is to purposely mislead you. If you're like a hound dog and you got that scent that you're sniffing, I need you off there real quick because I ain't trying to deal with that. So I'm going to throw something at you that's I'm going to pull you into my realm, which is emotionalville. I'm going to pull you over with me. I'm going to have all this heightened emotion. I'm going to pull you with me. And then, like you said, we've never addressed the actual issue. You know who is a master of doing this? Politicians. Watch politicians. I mean, red herrings.
They actually teach them to do it.
These are strategies. And women, it is innate. We do this so well. And again, it's so that we never get to resolution or I don't want to face a certain thing that we're about to talk about.
But I will say this, though. Dealing with men over the years, mentoring and things like that. Yeah. A lot of men were raised in a single-parent, mother-led home. Right. They were raised by grandma. They were raised by mom. So there are a lot of men that are very well versed in deflection. Yeah. They understand the ways of the feminine, so they take those things on and they will deflect. Yeah. They will knock you off your square. They'll put you in the washer. They'll make you feel like you're the problem, Everything is your problem. Nothing is ever right because they learn how to use it. It's a feminine way of dealing with conflict.
Yes.
Whereas most men deal with conflict head on. Let's talk about it. Let's stay in Logicville. But a lot of men go to their feminine and they start doing the deflection thing, and then it makes the woman feel like she's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of women be like, you don't understand. They go crazy because their tactic got flipped back on them.
It's a hot mess.
And it doesn't feel good.
Ain't nothing getting solved.
Nothing's getting solved, and everybody's frustrated in the process. And if you're in a marriage or a relationship, that communication is never positive.
Yeah.
Because you could never get anywhere. You're just churning. You're just sitting there churning. And so there's a lot of that going on in a lot of relationships, both male and female. And it's important that we understand what it is and how it works.
To this gentleman's point in the beginning of the video when he talked about he doesn't get into arguments with people and how he doesn't have the energy for it, and and I totally agree with that. I've never been a person that's even been a type of person that likes to argue. We don't argue in our relationships. I think there is a distinction between argument and disagreement.
And a discussion.
Yes. If we're at a place where we're not seeing eye to eye and we're disagreeing about it, I think we need to have that discussion where we're both able to kind of talk about it. I think once you introduce heightened emotions such as anger, frustration, malice, all those rage, all those things, now you've progressed to an argument and there's nothing that's going to be productive. There will not be any problem solving. How can you solve a problem if you're pissed off at your partner and have such a heightened emotion? You've got all these chemicals going on in your body because all this adrenaline is pumping. You're I'm just mad. Nothing's getting solved. So the best thing that you can do is get a level head and come back to a place where we're still at disagreement, but now we got to discuss so that we can have real resolution.
And that goes for any relationship.
Work, yeah,
family,
doesn't matter.
Once heightened emotion gets involved,
it's a wrap.
And sometimes you gotta have the wisdom to know when to walk away. Absolutely. Sometimes you gotta have the wisdom to know we're done. This conversation is over with.
Like, you know what? I'm gonna let you have that.
Yeah.
And you're done. Like, there is no pushing past certain things. And if you know that person is rigid in their thinking and they do not want to grow past it, let them have it.
Or you can say something real petty if you want to be.
You're gonna teach people to be petty.
I'm gonna teach them how to be petty. when you're in a discussion, don't do this in your marriage. Don't do this in your marriage. But if you're in a discussion like a coworker or a parent or a sibling or something, just tell them, hey, you know what? You're right. Because that's what you want to hear. You're right. You're absolutely right. And then this conversation's over. And just walk away. Just walk away from it because there's nothing else to be done. Now, in a relationship, I wouldn't recommend doing that. But what I would say in a relationship is that once that person becomes a right fighter, the conversation's over. You just want to be right. Doesn't matter what I say, you're going to have a comeback to it. Yeah. So we're going to table this discussion till later, but we are coming back to it. And I expect the next time we have this conversation for you to have a better resolution than just you want to be right.
And you can get really good with your specific communication, like being very concise and specific. And you can ask your partner in that moment, do you want to be right or do you want to get the problem solved? What do you want?
Yeah.
And that'll jar them and be like,
well, it should jar them.
Well, it should. And if it doesn't and you get the combative response, then you might need to call
if you find yourself consistently running into that wall where that person just will not, like you said, they are absolutely positively wrong and they won't admit it, you need a third party.
Yeah.
A disinterested party. Not your pastor. Not your pastor who known you since you're 3 years old and all that stuff. That's biased, that's kind of biased. You need a disinterested third party. I really believe that. And not a friend, not a co-worker. You need a disinterested person who just doesn't have a dog in the fight. Because a lot of times what will happen is, let's say a couple will come to us and maybe they know me or know her from the past, something like that. The other person automatically comes in with their defenses up.
Yeah, because they're like, I know you teamed up on me. So.
Well, we try to do our best and we make sure of that.
To disarm them. Yeah.
But I mean, if you can help it, a disinterested third party is always the best route. If you guys are in a place where you can't even figure out what to eat for dinner without getting into an argument, and there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
But it's just no place for it. That, like you said, that argument doesn't take you anywhere. It's okay to walk away from an argument. It's okay to say this discussion's over until we can figure something out. Because what's the point of standing there wasting time, breath, and energy to argue with somebody? And some people just love to argue. Some people love it. Absolutely.
Grip in it. And
I think some people get sexually aroused by arguing. I really believe that. Yeah. I've seen it. Like people they just love just that back and forth energy, and it's a weird energy, and it doesn't work.
Wears you out, and nothing gets solved.
Yep. So I thought that was a great video.
It was a great video.
Something that needs to be discussed over and over again. It's an ever growing conversation. But for right now, that's enough said.